two people here. We've got David and Crypto Wabbit. I'm going to hand things over to David first, just to tell us a little bit about the project and give us an overview on the history, how it came to be, and the story behind it, and to introduce themselves as well. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, so I'll just talk a little bit quickly before the presentation with Wabbit. So my name is David Martin. I'm the CEO and founder of DestinyWorld. I've been involved in crypto since around 2015, and during this time I've worked for various projects. This past year I've been working at eCoin, and it was during this time I've learned the importance of needing solid use cases to help the project become successful, and also to keep the communities interested. With a lot of projects, they generally only have one main use case and maybe one other. A lot of projects fail due to the lack of use cases or just go into hibernation. So it was during this time working for eCoin that I met Crypto Wabbit, and we started chatting about my points above about use cases and lack of. And during this time, there was so many scams, rug pulls around. I got scammed a couple of times. My friends and family were getting scammed all the time. So we chatted about there's a need for a solid, trusted DeFi project that can offer good, solid use cases in one place, that can earn great rewards. So this is how we started talking about and creating DestinyWorld. Our aim is to build a DeFi ecosystem with the classical use cases that are already out there, but adjust them to make them our own. We'll be creating multiple use cases launched in stages and have them all run on one front end. What makes us unique is our contracts are built for other tokens and dApps to launch off, creating synergy both for the dApps running on them, but also making awareness for the people using them. The reason we chose Telos is because they basically have everything we need to launch, and what you're working on with the multi-chain is going to be really important for Destiny, because we plan on working on various chains with our ecosystem and getting projects in where they can use multi-chain via us. So it's really exciting, and just really looking forward to cracking on and working with Telos. That's pretty much all I'd like to say for now. I'll be happy to pass over to Wabbit unless anyone has anything else to say.
You know, I wanted to jump in here and just get your perspective, because we had a conversation with Crypto Wabbit leading up to this, and you know, it was one of the most interesting perspectives that I think I've heard. And the reason why we wanted to keep this open format and let you guys tell your story, and it went along the lines of Crypto Wabbit got involved with cryptocurrency and he got scammed, and then he got scammed again. And then he noticed that people that got scammed once ended up getting scammed over and over. It was almost like,
I'm the same. You don't learn your lesson. You just think, oh, and this time would be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. Like I've got so many friends that are just over and over on Binance Smart Chain that do these farming projects or these tokens like Sheeb or whatever. They just jump in, knowing that they're probably going to be scammed. But I've learned my lesson. I'm building my own, so I don't have to chase anymore. But my friends just don't learn. They keep doing it.
What do you think about that? You know, obviously the psychology behind, quick money and fast money, but what else do you think it is about that they know it's a scam? They've been scammed before, yet they still want to jump in.
I think it's just greed, because these scam projects offer super high percentage APY for farming, or you know what I mean? So they think, oh, maybe this time it'll be different. We'll make our money back and all that. But obviously it's not different, but they just don't learn, and it's greed. A lot of it's greed, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that, you know, the greed and the fast money has a lot to do with it. It was really interesting to, to think about that, because I found myself, back when I first entered the space in a similar position, and you've been scammed. You have a feeling it's going to be a scam again, and you still jump in anyway. So, but anyway, what he led to, he said basically, I want to build something that entices people to come to my project and not scam them for once. You know, a good price and a great
Yeah.
product. And
People
that's
can
what you
sleep
guys have
well
done.
at night knowing their money's safe. You know what I mean? We're going to be fully doxed, like photos on our website and on all our documents and everything. Like, so we'll be audited. So everything's going to be clear. We'll have our LinkedIn links, social sites, and all that. So people can like sleep well knowing that we're legit.
Well, big shout out to you guys. Great work. I won't stop the excitement anymore. I'll let Crypto Rabbit get to it, but thanks so much for sharing, David. Really, really appreciate it.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Philip, or also known as Crypto Rabbit on Telos. Yeah, so I have a short presentation. I would like to just share our sales deck, and I will try to explain what we mean about it. And regarding that, our history, I started with crypto 1st of April last year. I remember that date because before that, I had a lot of misconceptions about crypto. I didn't understand what it was. I only read the headlines in the newspapers, and that's it. That was my source of information. So what attracted me to the crypto world was a very simple application that I could kind of use on my cell phone. And the reason I'm saying that is because most of the time we spend a lot of hours on our cell phones every day. So if you want to meet people, the best place to meet people is actually on their cell phones by using applications. And those applications might not be very complex. Those might be super simple. And that's what fascinated me. And yeah, okay, I said, let's skip those headlines. Let's skip those misconceptions, or at that time, I didn't know it was misconceptions, and see what it is all about. And during that summer, I investigated more and more into what it was, and I kind of idled in Telegram at the Telos groups. And also what fascinated me was that I've been around for a lot of blockchains, but every time I asked questions in the Telos groups, I felt like I was welcome. And kind of that attitude also is some of the core behind what me and David is making, because that attraction is very valuable. I mean, to feel welcome and to feel appreciated, and you have a voice that you actually feel has some sense to make. Okay, so let's talk about DestinyWorld. As David said, DestinyWorld is about connecting technology and people, and we believe that technology is the applications that are running all over, and people are, of course, all the communities on social media. So what is technology? Technology is all the applications and all the tokens. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to find those tokens that had a value, or find the tokens that are new and need a value, and polish them and make them valuable again, take them out of hibernation. And by connecting technology and people, we mean that different applications are made for different types of audience. And of course, different types of audience has different types of interests for why they're using these applications. And we believe that if we connect everything into one large hub on top of the blockchain, we can make awareness of different types of applications. And we're pretty sure that one individual has multiple interests, but it might not be the reason why that individual came into the blockchain or cryptocurrency world. So we see the problems we spoke about. This image on the side is just the tokenomics for the bid and stake platform. But we see that existing projects are missing use cases for the utility tokens. And by that, we mean that a lot of projects, they are opening up with some cool idea, and they have a utility token, and then that token is exchanged on a exchange, or centralized or decentralized or liquidity pools, and that's it. So over time,
What 15?
okay. So over time, those tokens might lose interest. And that's bad, because the application might be really cool and the individuals or the communities behind it might be really cool. So that's what we're trying to attract again. Take those applications and take those people into the cryptocurrency world and kind of build the interest back. And the same applies to alternative coins. We have a lot of coins. The first time I entered the crypto world, I thought we had perhaps a couple of hundred. but I quickly found out it was like 14, 15,000 of them. And I believe that most of them were clones or copies of each other, and everyone were trying to copy Bitcoin, which is kind of the mirror of real life's gold. And then in DeFi, because DeFi was a trend that started, at least for me, last year in August, September, everyone talked about stabilization of tokens. And by analyzing and learning about different types of stabilization, I quickly learned that it's complicated and very expensive. And sometimes it's so complex that you need very educated people from universities and into economy models and business, and perhaps also Wall Street experiences. So we have a couple of solutions for that. That's our hypothesis. And as we said, we're trying to build a hub where applications, tokens, and communities kind of achieves a synergy and awareness of each other. And we are using trends that we learned the last year. Those trends are, of course, DeFi, because that's a super huge experiment in the crypto world for now. And we're using something called NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And we believe that rewards and achievements is something that is driving people to attraction of something, because we know that if you're playing games on a phone, you get these small achievements. And if you get those small achievements, you can share them with other people and you can get likes. So using modern technology and using simple games and simple rewards, you actually get a voice and people are hearing you. Not in a traditional way, but at least you get some attention. And I think that's what attracts people to these things. And of course, there's a monetary thing as well. So by building this hub, we have what we call our use case, because we are building it for us. And then to make it sustainable, we talked about that, me and David. And what happens if our use case is used up? What happens with the contract? Is it going to die, or is it possible to make it sustainable and make it alive? And we found out that if we design it for our use case, and in parallel also open it for other use cases, so people can use our contract without interfering with our tokenomics, and also combined, because if other token owners or systems are combining their use cases with our use cases, but those two would be stronger. So that's kind of an ideology we're trying to build into every contract, that it's open for our use case and it's open for prototyping or other dApps for doing their stuff, and also combined synergy. And we have a lot of things in the list. We have something called bid and stake, which is the first contract we built. It's basically auctions where you can bid on tokens, and people can use that for fundings, or they can use that for referring people for airdrops. It has a lot of various use cases. And of course, our DCO, that's the Destiny coin. It's the utility coin used for every contract. We are going to build a farming platform. And what's unique with the farming platform? Yes, it is a clone of Farming Bad. So it's definitely the core inside that platform is by staking liquidity pool tokens. And by staking those tokens, you get some sort of rewards. And the indirect thing is that because we are using T-swaps for those LP tokens, you're also supporting T-swaps. So it's kind of synergy effects across dApps already. And that farming platform is under design now, and it will have some pretty cool features. I can't talk about them, but I think we will be one of the pioneers having those features as far as I know. So it's not only going to be a staking platform for a high APY in short periods using LP tokens, but it might contain some some surprises as well. The X-chain thing, that's just cross-chain, because we believe that if you have a token somewhere which are lacking use cases or is going to hibernation mode because it's lacking interest, we would like those tokens to come alive again. And the only way to do that is by giving those people and those token owners a free or easy opportunity to use those tokens again, instead of swapping them on exchanges with bad liquidity, or perhaps they can't swap them at all. That's the cross-chain piece of it. Social media, very important, because we know that people are spending a lot of time on social media. So we have developed our own Telegram bot with a lot of games, because we know that if you take a sample of everyone on Telegram, a lot of those people love betting, they love games, they love sport games. So in our Telegram bot, we have Champions League. You can bet on those matches. We have simple casino games, and we have like stupid simple games that you can spend time on, and we know that people like them. And of course, that is also why we're combining DeFi with normal everyday people things. So everything is not made for investors. Everything is not made for everyday people. We have combinations of use cases, so we attract different parts from the societies. And also, because we attract different parts of the societies and communities, that is also a synergy effect by itself. NFT rewards, very important. I spoke about that. We like achievements. We like likes. We like attraction and attention. And I can just show you very short our roadmap. We haven't developed the icons in here yet, so it's blank. But in Q2 2021, we are going to launch the website. We actually had a website ready for 1st of May this year, but because we got approved by T-Starter, we postponed that launch, and we started making version 2 of the contract, so that's why that was delayed. And we're also moving from one provider to another provider, making it more stable and more compatible with different components for the future. For your technical guys, it means that we're moving from Netlify to Heroku. So the auctions, that's the bid and stake platform. That's our first contract. It will be called DestinyWorld because that's the entry point for everything. We will also launch the mining platform. Our use case in mining is to mine a token called REES, Rare Earth Elements, because we have some brandings for the future for that theme. And the mining platform is a slow mining contract. And the reason we split those in 2 and 3 is because it is easier to upgrade code, it is easier to maintain, and it is easier to patch exploits and things that are discovered in the future. So the mining platform, very slow mining platform. Of course, it's open for everyone to use if they list in our ecosystem. And we have some special attributes in there, so it might be used for just normal staking, or you can use it as a conversion, so you can convert tokens, and the outcome of that conversion could either be retiring / burning, or just use them for other purposes. And of course, if you join any of our contracts, we have made an internal wallet system, an internal permission system. So each individual token owner that joins our system will be able to control their own attributes. And of course, the DAO controlling everything will be able to control everything, of course. Telegram bot, I spoke about that. And then the next quarters and next year, we will focus on farming and something called T rewards, TETF, and CRP. And now it becomes more and more advanced. So we're starting up with use cases that we believe are for the masses, that most people would like. And then we're going more and more advanced. I spoke about the farming. That's more like a slow mode, short period, very high API thing for LP tokens, and some surprises for the future. The tier rewards, that will be a reward contract. It is still under drafting. And the reason we would like to have reward contract is because all of our contracts would be able to queue things based on thresholds. So let's say that you win an auction. Okay, that could trigger something into the rewards platform, and that rewards platform could automatically either give you some tokens or give you an NFT as a reward. And of course, that will also be open for other dApps to use if they register in the system. Then the TETF, that's self-explanatory. ETFs, that's an advanced financial instrument called exchange trading funds. So if Telos wants something like that, we are capable of building it. And then the CRP, that's far away in the future. But what I can tell you about that is we believe that we are able to create a token elastic without it being elastic originally. And it has some pretty cool features. And of course, all these 4 bottom things are contracts that we might need help from Telos to work on, because they might show up to be quite important for Telos and also for other applications. So back to the presentation. Yeah, so LP listing, that's of course T-swaps, because we want to reuse what is already existing and help other dApps to success. That's also why we are going to create droplets and T-bonds. And the way that works is that, let's say a token is listed on our system. So we have talks with a financial company trading at the London Stock Exchange called Fortis. And the Fortis token will be listed in our system. And because they are listed, we will create some droplets for them so people can actually have an airdrop using AeroX NFT, again, reusing existing technology. And we will also create a very scarce sample of T-bonds with their token for collectible reasons. So that will be some sort of Genesis T-bond because they are coming to Telos and coming to DestinyWorld. And of course, those templates will be available so they can develop their own T-bonds later if they want that. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, solution 2, that's just more about how individuals are, more psychology, where we believe that if you give people products that they recognize and they contain simple and they are simple and they have rewards, it will be easier to adopt them for everyday people. And of course, multiple audiences develop synergy effects. And if the technology is not mainstream, make it available where it is. So that's what I spoke about, using phones or technology where people are at the moment. And one important thing here is that even though our system is quite complex and we're talking about multiple blockchains, I don't want people to have a doctor or a PhD understanding blockchains. So our intention is to create a simple front end and make it as few clicks as possible, but still secure, so they can change blockchains, they can change dApps, whatever contracts we're using, without even needing to understand kind of what everything behind the scenes, but enough information for them to be secure and confident. So next slide, that's just more like market validation. It's more about opportunity self-processing, what we have done. So we have spoken to a lot of people. We started, I think, last year, 6-7 months ago, and yeah, spoke with a lot of people, conducted service interviews, what they need, etc., etc. And as I said, we had a product working on 1st of May, but that was kind of scrapped because we got approved and we developed version 2. Yeah, so enough of validation. Market size, this is a sales deck, so we chose Telos because of various reasons, and we know that we have 800,000 accounts. We know that we have 100+ active applications already. We know that Telos is targeting Uniswap and PancakeSwap. That's 2 different blockchains. So if you look at our contracts, every single contract has its own use case. It's like an isolated island somewhere in the large sea. And if you look at 2 of our contracts or multiple contracts, they are also tied together. So they will develop an ecosystem of islands or ecosystem of isolated use cases. And because we would like to extend this above the blockchain, we also think it's very cool that Telos has actually exposed themselves to Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum by using Telos Ethereum virtual machines. So we're going to follow Telos and we're going to close the loop. So when we are deploying horizontally on Binance Smart Chain, it is because we have a credible working product on Telos that we can tell the world, hey, look at us. We are Telos. This is our system. Be proud of it. We are doxed. It's working. It's not a scam. And we think that will attract people on Binance Smart Chain. And then finally on Telos EVM. And then we can close the Telos loop as well. So building synergy across blockchains as well, at least at a high level. Yeah, this is just about our products. I spoke about the front end, one responsive front end, and multiple smart contracts. We have social media bots and connecting across blockchains. And we're also going to integrate with real life use cases. That's where the Reese token comes in. And we have spoken about or with some companies already, so they are just waiting for us to actually develop what's called an MVP, a minimum viable product, so they can actually show. And thank you, John. I'm not sure if you're here, but we can prove ourselves that we are actually able to deliver, and then the real life use cases are just queued up. That could be credit cards, that could be real life games. I mean, games off chain, etc., etc. Business model is not interesting here, I guess, but we would like to use a DAO-driven governance and compliance. By that was also one of the reasons we chose Telos, because Telos Decide. They will have D-Store. It's already launched in beta, I think. Telos will give us Telos Private. They will give us Telos ID. So it's everything that we need is on Telos or will be on Telos during 2021, and that's really important. That's why we chose Telos as our master hub and basically skipped the other ones, because you guys deliver what you have said. You walk like you talk. That's cool. So market adoption, that's something else. Our finances, just telling you how we started as a bootstrap company, that we are getting investors. These numbers are just referential. So T-Starter, we missed a little bit upon that, our own fault. Venture companies, they might be used for Binance Smart Chain and Telos EVM. We will look about that. And token listings. We have 2 tokens already that said they will list, and that's eCoin and the Fortis Bank token fort. And of course the team, we have David, we have Crypto Wabbit Philip, that's the first Philip. And then we have our CTO Philip, again, same spelling. We have one guy called Bask, a very prominent developer. He started out as a student, and he'd never developed EOS IO, but now he's kind of really good. And I can say that because I've been in the IT environment for 25 years. I'm working to become a solution architect, and I see code that is good. And I also got a lot of experience by using or being a Vigor custodian for a couple of months, learning how that system is working. And then we have Victor. He's in charge of our Telegram and social game manager. And we have a couple of other guys here that's not depicted. And that's one web designer, and that's also one web developer. So we have 3 devs actually in our team. I think that was it. I hope it was interesting for you guys. So I'll just stop sharing now, and hopefully we have some questions or corrections or whatever. Thank you.
That was great. Such a great presentation. So in depth and well explained. Thanks for taking the time to do that. I remember before we started this AMA, you were like, "Oh, I haven't done many presentations before." It was perfect. So good.
He's amazing. He's a legend at it.
Yeah, there's so many exciting different avenues that kind of makes your head spin at first, and then you did such a good job of explaining each area in depth, so we get a really good view of the ecosystem and what it is. I think it's really cool, the mission that you guys are doing in terms of this idea of just being like, an honest, usable DeFi platform that will, go beyond just being a scam that people are going to keep doing over and over again, even though they keep getting scammed. It's like, just think of the impact it'll have when people don't get scammed, right? And anytime I have a conversation with a real world person about, who's outside of the blockchain environment about DeFi, right? Or this, you can earn, this interest like this and that. They're like, well, that sounds like a scheme to me. And how can you trust that? My response is always, well, how do you trust your bank, your lawyer, whatever? It's just the trust dynamic in society is kind of changing, right? Where we have to have, programmers and applications that we really trust in the financial space. And so it's great that you guys are kind of tackling that head on, I think. So yeah, props.
Yeah, I also think that we target everyday people, because I mean, if you talk about DeFi, people think about, oh, that's an investing platform, that's some sort of bank or exchange where you have derivatives, you have futures, you have ETFs, you have all those advanced financial instruments. But in real life economy, it's all about also having use cases and consumables, because if one company paid out salary and everyone used that salary for staking, then that governance would quickly become out of money and it would just halt. So for investors, we need people losing, we need people winning, and for everyday people, we need use cases and consumables, and together those are developing that economy and creating the monetary value for it. So it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think it's great, and the fact that you're building this as a hub that that utilizes all the financial tools that are already on Telos, because there's a lot, but they're kind of fragmented, right? And even though there's some really awesome innovations and more coming, so it's great to have this hub there, and then that you're building it in a way that other applications can utilize it as well. I think is huge, right? Yeah.
Well, that's actually a big part of it. We want to get partnerships and dApps that are outside of Telos and bring them into Telos to help grow Telos at the same time.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly it too, right? So I think people need to realize that too. Just, when you have a DeFi platform like this, that's awesome in the first place, just in the industry in general, but it's also on Telos. That's just going to drive so many more people into Telos. And the fact that you're looking at building those bridges to other, blockchains once you've developed it on Telos is huge, because it'll just drive more user adoption for our ecosystem in general, right? So I think that's amazing and exciting.
And I think that DeFi part is also, we're trying to gamify it as well as we're trying to make it serious. So if you look at the auction platform and the mining platform, the more tokens that we whitelist in the auction platform, it will work like a collateralized basket for a lending borrowing platform. And the outcome of that will be usable for the mining platform. And the outcome of the mining platform will influence the input on the auction platform because of that collateralization. So that's what I mean by every new contract we're building will somehow be connected to the previous one. And the reason we do that is to not just have a linear creation of new use cases, because the moment that stops, the economy stops. You need to have this diversity and distribution of use cases, because that randomness is what makes it unpredictable. And by making it unpredictable, it will be also more difficult to kind of exploit it, we believe. And it will also be a better insurance for the real life use cases, because one small action at one place will be rebalanced because of all the other actions on another place. I mean, that's the high-end intention of connecting those into a DeFi gaming platform overall.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you're building that digital economy, which takes a lot of thought process to do. I don't think I'd ever be able to come up with something like that. And that's sort of the difference, I guess, between a scam and the type of platform you're building, because you're going to scam, in a lot of these DeFi apps. I think you said this in our initial meeting, right? It's like they aren't creating value out of nothing, right? Someone is getting the short end of the stick, and normally that happens when the rug gets pulled, right, by the developers, and they take off with extra money or whatever. The fact that you're building this in a way that creates this sort of circular economy that just builds wealth is in a way that's easy for people to adopt is super cool.
And I mean that because we're not allowed to have an instrumental value for our tokens. Otherwise, we could just bind them to silver or gold or whatever commodity in the real life. So we have to use the two other dimensions, which are intrinsic value, which is excellent for a rug pull or an exit scam, or we could create use cases, which is kind of the foundation of an economy, working economy from real life. So we're trying to combine those as much as possible.
That's awesome. Well, I think it's a good time to open it up and see if we have any questions from the community, unless you guys had anything else you wanted to add first.
No, I'm happy for that.
Great. All right, guys. So let's jump in if any of you have any questions. Feel free to post them in the chat. Jeff, I don't know if we can have them. Maybe the other option we could do is have them raise their hand if they want to talk.
Yeah. Either or, it's entirely up to you. Feel free to post your questions in the chat or raise your hand, and we can call on you and let you speak. So whatever you prefer. did such a good job. You answered all the questions
This is
before it was even
exactly-
over.
This is exactly what happened on the last AMA. Wabbit did such a good presentation. Everyone knew everything and they did not have a single question.
I love it. I also want to say we got a great turnout. People are excited about this. I think we got close to 40 people in attendance.
40 at the top, yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and ask a question. Just from a user perspective, what's the best thing that someone can do to get involved and support you guys at this moment? The T-Starter campaign is over. Wish it wasn't, because they could directly dive into that. But are you guys looking to do a second round on T-Starter, or is there anything they can help on the product front for user feedback, etc.?
Well, Rory did mention before about we could maybe do a second sale because the timing wasn't great because Telos suddenly shot up, didn't it, over 200%. So I don't think people were willing to part with them during that time. Like me and Wabbit haven't actually discussed about actually doing it, but Rory did bring it up. So it might be an option maybe a little later. Obviously, we plan on launching the bid and stake contracts and the mining contract with the new website within the next, say, like three weeks, something like that, over the next few weeks. So that will be going, and then we'll see how it goes from there, I suppose.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super exciting.
I just want to add. Oh, go ahead.
I also believe that if you look at large project organizations, you need exactly that keyword. You need an organization, and within that kind of a group, you have some reference group, and you have some working groups, and you have ambassadors. So I also believe that if the community wants to help us, I challenge them to challenge us by actually testing out our hypothesis, our use cases, and make them better, because that's what all this is about. We are making this for the blockchain. We're making it for the users, for the dApps. So anything that we can adjust or have in our loop for our roadmap would be great for us. And of course, also when we open up the testing on testnets, they could try to break it, try to play, try to game it, whatever. All that feedback is very, very important for a successful project.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah, I just was gonna add, I got a little sneak peek, some screenshots you sent me of the new website that's coming down the pipeline, and the user interface is there. It's great. So I'm excited. I don't know if that's out. I think I don't know if it's on your. I think I saw it. Somebody shared it in your DestinyWorld Telegram group. A picture of one of them. I saw somebody post there, but yeah. It's got the UI that's necessary for that mass adoption.
And the bot, the Telegram bot is going to be great for me. It has like Champions League football, Premier League football, Spanish League football, German football. It's got basketball, like loads of different sports where you can bet deco, and we got roulette.
So the bot's already live then in the Telegram?
It's not live yet. No, it'll go live
Okay.
on the day we launch. It's completed. We finished it. It'll go live when we launch in a few weeks. But it's got like roulette, dice games, card games. Like you can bet with deco, and
that's so great. I love it. Fantastic. So yeah, people go join the Telegram group. It looks like we've got a question here from Lumi. Is Fortis a customer of DestinyWorld or in partnership? And also, can we say DestinyWorld is like Binance in the making?
Right. Fortis is a partnership. They will list their token on DestinyWorld. So when people stake Deco, there'll be a pool of tokens from the partnerships that we have. And then that pool of tokens will be shared out every day to the stakers every 24 hours. So there'll be a good share of different types of tokens. And then also later on down the line, we'll look into get a debit card with them so people can use our tokens via debit card online and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely a partnership.
And we can also say that we are having conversations with them. We're helping them to onboard them to Telos. And it is a financial company that is already having clients on the London Stock Exchange. And now they want to expand their services using blockchains and cryptocurrencies. So Telos is the entry point for them. So we're onboarding them, and also, yeah, having a partnership with a hard token or a real life use case token into our platform. So that's pretty cool from our perspective.
That's great. And then his second question, well, can we say DestinyWorld is like finance in the making? I was going to ask this, is there like a handful of apps? Because some of the things, like you say, like the farming and stuff like that are based off of, you know, other contracts that are out there. Is there an app or a handful of apps that you might compare yourselves to, just to give people a better understanding of it?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Do you know, Wabbit?
Hands down,
well,
finance.
well, yeah. I have this saying that everything I say is already said before me, because it's all bits and bytes, and yeah, I'm not the first person in the world. But yeah, not a joke. Of course, most of the IDs that we have is taken from other platforms. For instance, the farming contract, it will be a clone of Farming Bad, and we have already countered their not a re-entry attack, but that bug they had with the contract or tokens going out of the pools. But if you dig into marketing adoption and how marketing adoption is done, so all our IDs are not like unique IDs at all, because they are kind of taken from other systems, other real life use cases. But in market adoption, you need something called relative advantage. And that means you need to be better than the others. You need to have something that is more cool or more easier, makes it less complex. And I believe that by combining DeFi with rewards, NFTs, and also utilizing, in my personal opinion, the best blockchain in the world, and the already existing apps that are there, I think that's our relative advantage. And also by making the front end simple as possible, so the users do not need to understand too much of technology and software to use it. I think that's our advantage.
Yeah, so like you just said, Wabbit, like the use cases we have, like among many projects, they're all spread out. But what we're doing is bringing them all into one front end and giving them a tweak to making them our own personal contracts. And so there's not many projects that have all these use cases in one place. So we've kind of picked the best use cases that are out there in DeFi and combine them into one thing, so they all link together and help each other succeed.
Yeah, and also combining. I mean, I work as a business advisor now for Salesforce, or for a company using Salesforce. And for me, it's very important that we have something called dynamics, modularity, scalability, and flexibility. And by that, I mean that if you're developing a use case, make sure that use case is easy to adjust or easy to adapt other places. So I think that's also one strength that we have, because all our contracts has our use case, but we're also inviting people to use our use case combined. And we're also inviting people to use the contract in parallel without affecting the tokenomics. And we're also giving people the rights to adjust their own parameters. So they don't need to create proposals to us to adjust parameters. And we also have attributes all over. So we can actually have multiple use cases on one use case. And one thing about that is, like the auctions, it could be used for just simply bidding on tokens, and the tokens comes back the day after. But you can also enable proceeds there, so you can use it for funding. And also in the mining platform, you can either have it as a fixed staking, or you could have it as a conversion with or without burning. So we have some small attributes there that are making it, I think, a little bit cooler than the other ones that are only made for one sole purpose.
That's awesome. And I think we also got to acknowledge just like the power that Telos has as a DeFi platform, as Douglas likes to call it, you know, the platform where you can do $1 DeFi, and that's going to push user adoption. Because I've barely done any farming or anything like that. But when I have, you know, between buying first of all, trading, to get the tokens you need, and then buying the LP tokens and then staking them, I've paid it, and then unstaking them, I've paid at least $100 in just transaction fees, right? So you can't throw $5-10 at it and just have some fun and see what happens. And that hinders the growth of DeFi from the general people, right? So yeah, the fact that you'll be building this on Telos where there's going to be virtually no fees is huge, right? Whereas Douglas says people can have that, couple dollars that's going to change their lives or change their whole perspective on DeFi, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Binance Smart Chain, everybody went to there because the fees were low, but now it's just so heavily congested. Like every day you struggle to get transactions through and all that. So like us launching farming on Telos with even better fees, faster transactions, or hopefully we can bring a lot of the farmers from Binance Smart Chain across to Telos and help build Telos that way. So that's our plan.
Yeah. I think
And also, if you look at the details, like when we encourage the apps to list because we have the use cases. But if you look at the details, we also encourage them to use T-swaps. We encourage them to use AirX NFT. And by using those already existing core platforms or core protocols on Telos, we're actually building synergy on top of Telos as well. And the more attention they get, the more development funds they get, it will grow bigger and bigger. At least that's kind of an idea behind that. So encouraging also is an important factor here.
Yeah, that's great. The more you can sort of create that economic activity on Telos, the more it's going to help all the apps grow together.
Yeah, but back when I was, researching projects, when I first got in the space, there were three things, the three E's, and that was experience, the user experience that a company provides to its users, the ecosystem, so the partners and the projects that it brings into the space as well, and then the execution. So to really hone in on your question, Lami, it really depends on not who has the idea, but who executes on that idea, provides an amazing experience, and really builds out the ecosystem. And I think DestinyWorld's doing all of those, which is why we're so excited to bring them on today.
Yeah, that really sums it up well. I have a question if there's not any more other questions. I just want to hear a little bit more about the T ETF, if you can tell us any more. Is that based off of T bonds, or what's sort of your concept on that?
It is what it is. ETF stands for Exchange Trade Funds. It is a real life financial instrument. And the idea behind it is that it goes back to the auction platform where we have collateralized tokens. And it's important to say that if a token is whitelisted, they don't need to use the auction platform. They can skip ahead in like an opportunity sales process. They can just skip all the stages and go to stage 3 if they want to. And by using that collateralized whitelist of tokens, we would like to develop a Telos ETF token based upon that. And that Telos ETF token is used for advanced financial instrumentation. So it could be useful for connecting back to, for instance, stabilizing Telos dollar or something like that. But it's still under design, and I don't want to talk too much about it. But ETF is ETF, and they already have one on the US blockchain called CETF. So it's kind of similar to that one.
That's very cool. Yeah, I think that's exciting. Awesome.
And if you think about NFTs and how those could be combined into it, I won't tell you more, but it's some cool stuff going on there.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's great you're doing stuff with NFTs too, right? Because that's when you talk about creating value in the digital space, that NFTs, especially like rewards and stuff, right? Like those hold different value to different people, and you need those things to actually create like sustainable value, because whether it's on a blockchain or it's a real life reward or a piece of art or whatever, there's always speculation involved in what the user thinks it's worth to them, right? And that's how you create that value, I think. So it's great you have those as well.
Yeah, and NFTs is like the first time I noticed or observed NFTs, I thought it was like digital Pokemon cards with all their collectible value. But I quickly realized that an NFT, because it's digital and it represents beautiful art, it also has a program behind it. And because it has a program behind it, there's no limits, only your creativity. So you can use and combine that beautiful art with a lot of use cases. And those use cases could not only be DeFi, they could be basically anything.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we're still just scratching the surface, right, of what it's all gonna look like. So that's exciting. You guys are innovating so much. Do we have any more questions from the community?
Liam, I'm glad you asked the TETF question, because I was thinking the same thing, but honestly, a little afraid to ask it.
Fair. Yeah, I think it's cool. And that's just another one of those tools that, not a lot of people, like he says, there is one, the CETF, I think he was saying it's called, but it's a unique tool, right? That's going to be useful to other projects on Telos and just in the DeFi world in general.
Yeah, I hope so. And the reason we have T in front is because we're kind of having a sneak outbound campaign. So we hope to attract the Telos communities for these contracts, and perhaps those could be, with a little bit of help, a little bit of brainstorming, become core products on Telos, because we believe those could be so cool and so unique. Yeah.
I've got it on mute a minute if you want to go upstairs.
I think
great.
he thought he was on mute, but he was unmuted. Went ahead and muted him just so we don't have any.
Do we have any other questions from anybody? We got a good crowd of people still hanging around here. So if you guys have any last minute burning questions, just drop them in.
I have one guy here. Can I speak on the Zoom? So I will try to find him if he's still here. So I'm going to view, and no, I'm going to participants.
Yeah,
and I will see if I can find. It's Jesus. I think it's this one. Is it just ask to unmute, or?
Yeah, ask to unmute.
Okay, so let's see.
Any questions at all?
Yeah,
this
he's
is
online
your
now.
chance.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Welcome. Loud and clear.
Hey, guys, I'm one of the co-founders of Fortis, and I've been hearing the end of, because I've been doing it on the phone, and the coverage here has been very terrible. But in embarking ourselves into Telos and the whole Destiny world, and we really a big shout out to all of you guys for the amount of work. Hello.
You cut out a little bit there. I think you might... There you are.
Because the coverage is awful. Can you hear me better?
Getting a little feedback. You're kind of cutting in and out. Maybe just double checking your Wi-Fi or LTE connection.
I could make out him saying that his coverage is awful. So I'm assuming that's
yeah, it was pretty choppy.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah, much better.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know why, but the area where I'm at now, the coverage is absolutely terrible. No, just wanted to say on behalf of Fortis that we're very, very excited to joining the Telos and Destiny world, and that is it's been a great opportunity to meet the guys from Destiny to create all of this that we're trying to create for the future.
That's great. Do you have does Fortis have like a website, a Twitter, or any place else people can learn more about your project and your token bot, or would that be the Destiny world?
Yes, as of now, we have a Fortis community group chat where we have our clients, because basically we have a company here in the United Kingdom where we invest in the stock market on behalf of our clients. So the plan is to create this Fortis token to create this platform. I don't want to get into so much detail, but we have a community group chat on Telegram where people are starting to join. And then as of now, we're currently in the pre-sale stages of the token. Once we launch the pre-sale, we're going to be focusing on the website, the social media, and the rest of the things.
Awesome. I'm gonna look for that. Do you happen to know the handle of that Telegram? I'll drop it in the chat.
Thank you. I think I can, shall I put it on the chat?
Yeah, drop it in the chat, and then we can make sure
Okay, great.
people head over there and join it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's always great to have good partners on board. Building out the ecosystem is a reason why a lot of projects are still around today in the space and able to create impact. You know, that's the whole reason we're here.
And also one of the reasons why we've decided to go on Telos is because I can see the future of where Telos is trying to get at. And I think it's going to create a whole new environment for the crypto space. So it's like we're in the stages when Bitcoin was starting, but we're Telos and we're here to make the change. So this is why we're so excited to be on Telos. And we're so excited that DestinyWorld has introduced us to Telos.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think that's one of the things that attracted me to it too. And attracts a lot of developers, right? Is when you develop a product, you don't want to build something that's going to have any growing pains. So you look for the platforms that are ahead of their time and give you that room for growth and that trajectory to be where you want to be, right? Yeah, Telos is the ultimate platform for that, in my opinion. I think you were just ahead of our time, and like you say, mass adoption's coming to this sort of a space really soon. So smart move to move to Telos, or to start on Telos.
Yeah, and big shout out to everybody, you know, that's working hard on the platform. We wouldn't be, you know, much without our developers. Big shout out to Jesse, Justin, who works on product, Liam, who's been, you know, absolutely crushing it to get such great attendance and build an awesome community with all of you. And if you're building a project, you know, I handle partnerships, so reach out. I'm always happy to have a conversation and see how we can support your project in the space.
Yeah, we have to shout out the entire community, right? That's really what Telos is, and you know, there's people who have really helped to people who are in this chat right now. You know, we've got Jim and Leah and a lot of other people who have you know, been involved in Telos for so long and helped to build what it is long before I got here. I've only been here a few months, right?
I think it is Douglas saying, I really love that statement. When someone asks in the community, who's the CEO of Telos? And then Douglas says, you. And it means that yeah.
It's very unique in that way, right? The community is a huge part of it. And you know, going off that, like Jeff says, if there's any developers or people involved in other projects out there who want to get support from Telos Foundation or anyone else, please reach out to us. We're always building out more of these AMAs. You know, these are going to keep happening every Tuesday. So if you'd like to introduce your project to the community just like this, give us a shout out, slide into our DMs.
Yeah, our Zoom room is always open. We're always happy to have you, and we'd love to support you.
Are there any other questions that we got from the community? I think we've pretty much covered it. We're reaching the 1 hour mark, but if there's anything last minute that we haven't covered, please let us know.
Yeah, job well done. Big shout out. Thank you so much to the founders of DestinyWorld who answered all the questions before they even came through. Honestly, one of the best presentations and most exciting projects building on Telos momentarily. Really, really appreciate you guys being here.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And yeah, please continue challenging us, because that's how we grow out of our comfort zones, and that's how we can continue developing great products for everyone. So thank you.
Yeah, and if you guys have additional questions, you know, feel free to jump into the Telos community chat or the DestinyWorld community chat and ask away there. I'm going to post just the links to their Telegram and Twitter once again, so feel free to give them a follow to stay updated and ask any future questions.
All right, great. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for coming out. We'll see you again next Tuesday.
Likewise, have a great one, guys. Happy Telos Tuesday.